what's up? Welcome back to my page. Thank you so much for coming back this week to hear this week's real estate data for Philadelphia County. I hope, again, it's August, so I hope you're enjoying your August so far, especially like from the first week of August and then now it's the second week of August. So it's like, thank you so much for hanging out today, and I hope you're enjoying your summer and getting your last minute vacations and back to school shopping and whatever, getting ready for fall sports. So let's get into it. So this week we are coming into this week with 465 new actives, 105 homes coming back on the market, coming back to active, 429 price decreases. So that means that again, if you've been following for the past couple of weeks, I know I normally explain this stuff. Price decreases means that the seller had repositioned themselves on the market. We're seeing a lot more price decreases now, as well as homes coming back on the market after being off the market for a little bit. Probably the buyer had probably decided to they probably couldn't work out their negotiations, or they just decided to exit to not purchase the home, or the sellers decided to do some work and then fix up the house a little bit and then come back fresh back on the market so that it could be marketable again. And as well as for price decreases, again, sellers are repositioning themselves on the market to attract a new set of buyers. And speaking, when we have decreases, we also have increases. So we are at 68 price increases for these homes coming into this week. So with that means that the price had went up. They went under contract between the buyer and the seller. The seller accepted a buyer, and the house sold for higher than what the purchase price is. And right now, that's what a lot of sellers are doing right now. They're increasing the prices after they get under contract if they accept a higher purchase price on that home. Now, don't forget, just because the price increased, that also means that yes, the price had increased, that buyer was willing to purchase the home at that price, but it's still going through the banking process, the federal banking process, and going through the system, and it has to go through the appraisal. So it's not all said and done until you get to closing for this. So it has to pass the appraisal, and if the house appraises, that's great. If not, then you're going to have an issue and results in an additional negotiation between buyer and seller. Okay, moving on, we are at 171 actives coming under contract. That means that the seller had accepted a buyer, and that buyer is going through all their contingencies. So they're doing their inspections, they're also doing their mortgage, they're also doing whatever quotes that they need to get done to find out like how much it's going to, if they're doing renovations, how much it's going to cost, and then as well as an appraisal. They may do this right before the contingencies just can vary among can vary for the seller, for the buyer. So depending on how long the buyer decides they want that contingency, normally it's like probably about like 10 to about 17 days for that inspection period. But regardless, every deal is different, and every buyer wants different stuff. So that's what the active under contract is. And going to pending, we have 317 new pendings coming onto the market this week, and that means that the buyer and seller had resolved whatever contingencies that needed to be done in negotiations regarding repairs and what have you, and they are deciding to move forward. The buyer still wants to buy the house, and the seller still wants to sell, so they are moving forward to pending. And in the meantime, they're getting the title run, and the buyer's going through underwriting if they're getting a loan. And 477 homes had closed this week. So congratulations tips to those home buyers and sellers who had successfully went through the home buying process. Segment, we are at when I break down just some facts going on for this week, we are at, for median list price, we are at $312,000 even. So that's a lot. That's less than before. We were kind of almost hovering towards the mid threes. Now we're starting to cool down. Now we're starting to come down. That is, and coming up with these numbers, it's going to show that this market is starting to tamper off. So a lot of buyers, the market's starting to slow down. It's still very much a seller's market, but it means that the times of overpricing and overbidding, a lot of buyers are getting worn out, and now the home prices are starting to somewhat start to come down a little bit, if you haven't noticed, by the increase in price decreases, and as well as the median list price has also went down. So it's, now the market is starting to kind of level off to give buyers a break, because it's like we've been climbing so high that it seems like there's always been no ceiling, but now it's like it has to taper off somewhere. So hopefully from right now, the market's starting to shift. So, but it's still, nevertheless, it's still a good time to buy and a good time to sell, because we still have low inventory and the interest rates are still low. So, sometimes it just takes that time just to find something, that perfect house to come up at a reasonable price. And moving on, I know that I went off on a tangent, but we are at $249 price per square foot this week, and days on market is now 22 days. Average days on market that's average days on market. So that went up from 18 from last week to 22. So that is like 4 days. So again, it may be because the summer is now the summer is cooling off and we're going into the fall market, and also a sign of the times that the market's starting to tamper off a little bit. So homes are staying on the market a little bit longer. But nevertheless, in this market, it's still a long time. So for our inventory, current inventory for this week is at 3,896 homes. They're still available, residential homes that are still available for you to pick up. For our last segment, we are at our market segments, where I break down each price point and say what the available houses are, and just give some facts on that. That's pretty fun. So starting at this week, we're starting at right under 700,000 at 699,900. Can you believe that? With an average square foot of 2,298, with 3 beds, 3 baths. Average age of the home is 36 years old. We saw 66 new homes come out on the market, with the market absorbing 75 of those homes, leaving a total difference of -9. That probably means that people that probably couldn't qualify over 700,000, or at least right at that tip at 700,000, are now buying those homes. So now it's at a -9 for this market, for this market price point, at 379,000 even, an average square foot of 1,350. 3 beds, 2 baths. Average age of the home is 96 years old. We saw 99 new homes, with the market absorbing 82 of those homes, with a difference of 17 homes still available on the market. So that's still a little bit more on the higher end of things, right under 400,000. You still have a lot of home buyers that are still looking for homes in this area. So that leaves a difference of 17. And I noticed that myself just by going through the numbers and, seeing this every single day, that it seems like a lot of homes that are above 350,000 have been staying on the market a little bit longer. So that just shows that maybe that they need to can benefit from a price reduction to reposition themselves to attract buyers that may not necessarily qualify for anything above 375. Okay, so moving on, at 259,900, average square foot 1,062, 3 beds, 1 bath. Average age of the home is 101. We saw 89 new homes come on the market, with the market absorbing 80, leaving a difference of 9. So again, Homes have been sitting on the market a little bit longer right now. Now we're getting inventory that's going to be putting us over to the next week. And lastly, at $149,900 at an average square foot of 1,084, 3 beds, 1 bath. Average age of the home is 96. So we saw 85 new homes on the market, with the market absorbing 73, and we are at a difference of 12 homes available. So again, that just shows that we are having a little bit of positive inventory, but you know, things can shift week from week. So, and real estate just changes every single day, week from week, week to week, month to month, year to year. So, but regardless, we are still moving on. We are and you know, for any buyers who are still looking, just keep the faith. Keep trying. You may get your knees scraped and bruised, but good news is that it's starting to seem like that the market is cooling off a little bit, and home prices are starting to somewhat tamper off and starting to reduce a little bit lower, so that to make it a little bit more affordable for buyers to purchase these homes. So, but regardless, we still need sellers to sell their homes, and you know, there we have it. So thank you so much for hanging out with me this week, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Have a good one.